Welcome to this explainer. Today we're unpacking something that honestly should be in absolutely everyone's financial toolkit, and that is Alaska's unemployment insurance system. Even if you are happily employed right now, understanding how to secure this safety net before you actually need it, that's just one of the smartest ways to prepare for life's inevitable curveballs. So we're going to break down exactly how to file online, step by step. Let's get into it. Let's start with a really crucial question. Have you recently lost your job in Alaska? Or maybe had your hours unexpectedly reduced? Look, life happens fast, right? Job security can literally change overnight. And when you find yourself temporarily out of work through absolutely no fault of your own, you need to know exactly how to activate the state's safety net to keep yourself afloat. And there is a very, very good reason to pay close attention here. $370. That is the maximum weekly benefit amount available to eligible individuals in Alaska right now. Securing that funding quickly, that can literally mean the difference between maintaining your financial stability and facing a severe crisis while you're looking for your next gig. That is exactly why understanding this process is an absolute must. Okay, so here is our roadmap for today. First up, understanding Alaska unemployment benefits. Second, preparing your application documents. Third, filing your claim online. Fourth, submitting your weekly claims. And fifth, maintaining eligibility and support. Section 1, Understanding Alaska Unemployment Benefits. Let's talk about the rules of eligibility. So the very first thing to know is that unemployment compensation just isn't automatic. You've got to meet a very specific checklist. First off, you must be unemployed through no fault of your own. So things like being laid off or having your hours cut. Second, there's a financial threshold. You have to have earned a total gross income of at least $2,500, and that has to be spread over 2 calendar quarters during what the state calls your base period. Finally, you have to be physically able and available for full-time work right now. That means if a job is offered to you today, you don't have any restrictions holding you back. You need to already have things like transportation and childcare totally arranged. Now, this brings us to a term you are going to see everywhere in this process, the base period. Bureaucratic jargon can be a bit of a headache, I know, but this simply refers to an 18-month time frame the state uses to calculate if you've earned enough money to qualify. Usually they're looking at the regular base period, which is the first 4 of the last 5 completed calendar quarters. But, and this is a helpful but, if you don't happen to qualify under that regular period, the state actually allows an alternate base period using the last 4 completed quarters. This just helps capture your more recently earned wages. All right, so what does this all translate to financially? Let's break down the math. Depending on how much you made and how those wages are spread out over your base period, your minimum weekly benefit could be $56, scaling all the way up to that maximum weekly benefit we talked about of $370. The duration of these benefits lasts anywhere between 16 to 26 weeks. On top of that, you can actually collect a dependence allowance of $24 per week for up to 3 dependents. So we're talking about real, tangible support on the line here. Moving on to Section 2, Preparing your application documents. Let's gather your materials. Getting prepared ahead of time is absolutely key to avoiding cognitive overload and silly errors when you're actually filling out the application. You want to have this checklist right there on your desk. You'll need your social security number or your alien registration number and work permit if you aren't a U.S. citizen. You're going to need your last employer's full contact info, plus the exact start and end dates of your employment. You also have to report your gross wages for your final week, along with any vacation, severance, or bonus pay you got. Oh, and finally, if you're ex-military, have your DD-214 ready. And federal workers, you'll need your SF-8 or SF-50 forms to keep things moving smoothly. Section 3, Filing your claim online. Time to navigate the portal. So everything online kicks off at the My Alaska portal. It acts as this single, secure sign-on system used for interacting with a whole bunch of state of Alaska services, from getting your permanent fund dividend to, you guessed it, unemployment insurance. The great thing is this portal is available 24/7, and it is mandatory for filing your claim over the internet. The literal clicks to file are actually incredibly straightforward once you get logged in. First, just log into my.alaska.gov. If you don't already have an account, don't worry, creating one only takes a couple of minutes. Next, click View Your Services and pick Unemployment Insurance Benefits. From there, you just choose to file a new claim or reopen an existing one and follow the prompts to punch in all that document info you gathered earlier. At the very end, you have to read the legal certifications and explicitly click I agree to transmit your packet. A confirmation screen is going to pop up with a transaction number. Definitely save that number. Now, before we move on, I want to give a massive word of warning about the My Alaska portal. You have to keep your account secure. Do not share your username, password, or PIN with anybody. Period. Whether you file online or over the phone via their automated system, these digital credentials act as your legally binding electronic signature. You are personally responsible for all the answers provided under your login, so keep it safe. Section 4. Submitting your weekly claims. Let's talk about getting paid. It is absolutely crucial to understand the difference between the two types of claims you'll be handling. Your initial claim is what we literally just talked about. You file that exactly once to establish your base period and see how much you are monetarily eligible for. But your weekly claim must be filed every single week, starting on Sunday, ending at midnight on Saturday. This is how you report your current status, log your work searches, and actually trigger your ongoing payments. Okay, listen up, because I want to point out a critical little bureaucratic quirk that catches so many people off guard. It's called the waiting week. By Alaska law, the very first eligible week of your new claim is totally unpaid. So do not panic when your first week yields $0. However, and this is a massive however, you absolutely must still file a weekly claim for that specific week just to get your waiting week credit. If you don't file, you don't get the credit, and that means your paid weeks get delayed. To make sure your weekly benefits aren't delayed or flat out denied, you have to prove you're actively out there looking for work. You must complete and report at least 2 documented work searches every single week. For each search, you've got to report the exact date of contact, the name of the employer, and how you made contact. Like, was it an online application or did you walk in person? And a quick heads up, if you refuse a suitable full-time job offer without a highly justified reason, your eligibility is going to be suspended. And finally, Section 5, maintaining eligibility and support. Let's look at supplementary resources. So the really crucial point here is this very strict deadline. Within 7 days of filing your initial claim, you are required to go to alaskajobs.alaska.gov. Once you're there, you must create and maintain a full work registration profile, and you have to post an active, searchable resume right there in the Alaska Job Bank. If you drop the ball and fail to meet these specific registration requirements within that 7-day window, your unemployment benefits will come to a halt. But hey, this requirement isn't just a bureaucratic hurdle. It actually connects you to some really excellent supplementary support. The Alaska Job Center Network offers incredible online employment resources, and there are statewide job centers you can visit for in-person help. You might even be selected for the Reemployment Services Program, which provides specialized, rapid return-to-work training. Just keep in mind, if you are selected for this program, your participation is completely mandatory. If you skip it, your benefits may be denied. Ultimately, it's all designed to help get you back on your feet as quickly as possible. As we wrap up the specifics here, I do need to provide a pretty strong disclaimer straight from the state itself. Quote, you are responsible to read and understand all material in the handbook. This explainer is a fantastic, comprehensive guide to get you started with confidence. But remember, every single case is unique. You are going to receive an official UI claimant handbook in the mail. Read it. Consult the Alaska Department of Labor and Workforce Development for the most specific and personalized guidance regarding your own unique situation. Which brings us to our final thought. Are you prepared for the unexpected? Understanding this system isn't just for a crisis today, it is really about long-term financial readiness. I highly urge you to head to my.alaska.gov, familiarize yourself with the portal, and secure your safety net. And please, if you know any friends, family, or colleagues in Alaska who might benefit from this step-by-step breakdown, whether they're happily employed right now or actively looking for work, share this explainer with them. Knowledge really is the ultimate preparation. Thank you so much for learning with me today, and stay prepared out there.